everybody, it is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan throwing rocks and hiding his hand, Sadiq. And this is the second edition of Don't Believe the Hype, the second of the first of the year. So happy New Year's to everybody. I hope that you're having a great day, whatever that entails for you. Donovan, in his house, smells of New Year's Day. You know, Southern black mamas, they gonna put it down. And unfortunately, I can't eat none of it. But I'm inhaling very deeply. So.
Well, look, I can have mom put it in the blender and just make it liquefied.
That would be still some meat in there, though. You know, I'm a vegan, so I can't. It smells. It's tempting, I tell you. This is my 5th year as being a vegan, so I can't. I gotta, you know.
You gotta stay dedicated.
Right.
Stay dedicated.
So anyway, again, Happy New Year's to you guys. And so we are going to get into some things that has happened over the last couple of days. And I wanted to lead off with the story of Jasmine Barnes. Now, a lot of you guys probably have not heard the story. It's something that happened on Sunday. So who is Jasmine Barnes? Jasmine Barnes was a 7-year-old little black girl who was murdered while she was in the car with her mother, LaPortia Washington, and 2 of her sisters. They were leaving a Walmart, it sounds like, and going to get some coffee. And as they were driving, a white man in a pickup truck fired into their car numerous shots. So he first fired, shattered her glasses from what the mom was saying, and then stopped and continued to shoot into the car. He took off from that point, and she turned around. The mom, LaPortia, had been hit in the arm, and when she turned around, her 2 daughters were saying that Jasmine was not talking, wasn't moving, wasn't responding, and essentially she died from being shot by this white man. And so this happened in Houston. This man is still on the run at large. Yes, he's still on the run. The police and things like that have said that they're looking for him. Anybody has any clues? The sheriff said one thing we know about certain people, especially if this is the type of person we think it is, a white supremacist.
Okay.
They talk. And so he is going to talk. So when he does, please turn this man in, because true indeed.
Man, this animal.
Animal. He's a danger to society. Who's to say he's not going to do this again? And so Jasmine's mother, LaPortia, laments. Obviously, it's a terrible thing. How do you ever... I couldn't imagine having to even deal with that. And she says, this man didn't know my daughter. Right. Knows nothing about her and took her life.
Right. Just because.
Right. And so there's a few people who are saying... You know, they saw this man and he was drunk. And it's like, you know what? Let's say he was drunk. Okay. There's a lot of people who were drunk. Do they go and murder people? Mm-hmm. You know, the most they do is act an ass. And so that was something he wanted to do.
If you're in Oklahoma or Texas, when the minute you hear that, yeehaw, they're drunk and they're ready to go beat up or boot some minority.
So just to try to dismiss it and say, well, he was drunk. That's why he probably did it. No. He fired into a car full of black people and kept it pushing.
That's a shame.
Right. And so this little girl is no longer here. And, of course, you got people trying to dismiss that and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, this man needs to be found and brought to justice, because there's no doubt in my mind he would do this again. This man will do this again. And I think what black people need to understand, and I want to say this too, please, white supremacists or anybody who has a mind of a white supremacist, do not come on this page, you know, talking about we don't know why do we always need to invoke the race card. We're going to invoke the race card because it was a white man who shot into a car of black people and murdered a black little girl.
Well, why
that's why we're going to invoke the race card.
Right, but why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't you invoke the race card? A white man predominantly shot into a car of people he did not know. What else would you invoke? Yeah, what else would you invoke?
You know, and to the mom's point, you didn't know, like, not that there's a reason for you to kill this little girl, but you didn't even know her. You don't know why you killed this baby. You just did because you're a filthy, racist individual, and let's just call that what it is. And so I wanted to lead off with this, opposed to the other stories that I want to talk about, is because we need to start talking about these things. Okay. And we said this on my show last Sunday. Let's stop posting silly stuff. Let's start using our platforms, whatever they are, to highlight the things that go on in our communities, because a lot of people didn't even hear about this.
Right.
Because had this been a white girl, you didn't know, but had this been a little white girl, everybody and their mama would have been talking about it, including a lot of us. Oh, it's wrong. We need to find them. And I'm not saying that it's less of a big deal, but what I am saying is if it was a white girl, they would have found the sucker by now.
Oh, yeah,
especially if he had been a black man.
No, it would have been the U.S. Marshals would have been involved.
And if it would have been a black man, it wouldn't have been just that black man. It would have been every black man that fit that description until they found that black man. Okay? And so...
You can't deny that.
I think it's very important. I know it's very important that we talk about these things because people need to know that Jasmine Barnes will not ever she won't be here anymore due to racism. And we as black people, because right now, honestly, I can't say what I want to say because obviously I want to continue to be here to say certain things. I can't say what I want to say. Sure. But at some point in time, we got to stop being comfortable and stop saying, well, they'll get them. Oh, that's a shame. Because I had this conversation with my daughter last night. I said, imagine if the roles were reversed or the color of the people were reversed. There'd have been a lynch mob from here to there. Until they found this man, it would have been the police, it would have been the FBI, like I said, it would have been the Marshals, it would have been the KKK, it would have been everybody and their mama trying to find this dude who shot this little white girl, if that was the case. And so we in the black community need to stop waiting for people to deliver us justice. Now, I'm not saying to go out there and be vigilantes.
And take justice into your own hands.
But what I'm saying is we need to be proactive.
Right.
And as I was looking for the story again this morning to see if there's any updates, I haven't seen any updates. The stories were 8 hours ago, NBC, ABC, 8 hours ago, 2 days ago, because it happened on Sunday. It's like, okay, well, where are all these updates? Are you still looking for this man? Is he still on the loose? Any of that kind of stuff. And so we need to take it upon ourselves to highlight our own stories and stop posting nonsense. There's a thing that's trending now, and this is like how sick we are sometimes. There is this, and I'm not saying anything about homosexuality, so don't get that twisted, but that thing I sent you with the little boy, he's a little boy to us, but he's probably, 18, 19. This dude is flipping around in red high heel boots all the way up to his thighs, talking about if you niggas do this to me in 2019, right. He does this spin around kick. And then if you bitches do this to me, I'm going to flip out on you. And then he pulls out this face. It's like, Lord have mercy. So, and not only that, now he's got a series going on Instagram. Oh, yeah, he's got this action thing. He's fighting with women and men, and he's doing these flips in these boots. And I said, we made that happen for him. Wow. Look at the stuff we promote. You know what I'm saying? And so instead of promoting that, to me, that's silly. I don't care what nobody says it's silly. I don't think it's funny. I think it's silly. But instead of promoting that kind of stuff, why don't we talk about these type of things and how to I don't know if you could have avoided this racist murdering this little girl, because racists are firm in the things that they do. That's just who they are. Absolutely. But we need to stop being proactive and stop being reactive and be proactive. Okay? Proactive. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So I just wanted to highlight, Jasmine Barnes and that she was murdered in Houston by a white supremacist. And they're not calling him that, but I'm calling him that because Houston, Texas. And I've lived in Texas, Houston before. Spring. And I'm not saying nothing bad about people who live there, because I know there's a lot of conscious pro-black people who live there, but a lot of it that I saw was just like, golly, y'all just kind of just getting along. Do y'all not see the racism that I see? But it's normal to them. Not all of them, but to some of them.
Do you think that, like, with all the violence you see on TV and in movies and in books and all this other stuff, that people have just been so desensitized?
Well, per the title of the show, don't believe the hype. People believe the hype. They believe that, it's not as bad as it used to be.
I think it's worse.
I think so too. But we've gotten drinking out of water fountains and using the bathroom with the oppressor confused with progress. It's not progress. It's okay. Let's pacify these people, because if we keep them pacified, then they won't want to rise up against us. We keep them lullabied. Okay, you know what? Gosh, fellow white people, is it really gonna hurt? Just don't drink out of the water fountain. If they drink behind you, it's not that serious. But we need to keep them dead and docile, so that way they don't get any fancy ideas about organizing and unifying to do for themselves.
Throw them a few crackers here and there. Because it's funny, I was driving out to Beaumont a couple weeks ago, and...
Not Beaumont, Texas, California.
Beaumont, California, past Banning or whatever. But wait, it's Beaumont, then Banning.
Yeah.
So I was going out to Beaumont, but I was going out. Now, remember back in the day, there was nothing out there.
Nothing.
Okay, now there's a housing area right off the 10, $600,000, $700,000 houses. Mm-hmm. And have you noticed that in these communities now, they've gated the communities off?
Right.
To where, I mean, there's no like official gate, but like they have like a big fence or a big wall, and they kind of gated themselves off. And you could, if you're not even paying attention, you wouldn't even notice them that they're there. Right. Like in Harupa, if you look off the 60, where, they built all those homes on that
right off
the hill.
60, yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't notice unless you kind of like snatch your head and look. Right. And I'm just saying, $600,000 homes, stuff like that. Who do you think lives in those type of communities where they're gating themselves off from these areas? We got to get away from it. And it's funny you say that because my brothers both live in gated communities where you have to do and get in there. I'm like, so I think that it's like, okay, if I really wanted to get in here, all I got to do is wait for somebody else to enter the code and then follow behind them, which is what I normally do because I don't always remember the code. Right. Or I could hop the wall if I was really trying to do something to you. Right, but my thing is, 60 years ago, we think it ain't that bad. I think it's worse, if not more, where you're separating yourselves. They're making their own communities. But to the naked eye, or maybe, I guess you can maybe say the naked eye, if you're looking at that and you're one of these people who kind of just believe the hype, you're like, oh, I can't go back there. It's a gate. Oh gosh, it's so exclusive. Right. I need permission. Instead of a G like me, I'm gonna follow behind the car that's going in the gate. So that doesn't keep me out. But a lot of people, it does. Oh gosh, we can't go back there. We need special permission. Oh my gosh, does anybody know the code? Right. But I mean, they have these communities that are so exclusive to themselves that only certain people could get in there, which to me goes back to what I don't have to take. The difference between Malcolm and Martin was to me. Malcolm was talking about economic equality, versus I would rather have the money and say I could go into that community equally versus I could sit next down to the toilet with you. Right, or and to your other point, Malcolm was more or less like separation is what we need. Yeah. Let's do our own, separate and do for our own stuff. Martin was more or less until he died, selling the illusion of inclusion. Gotcha. If you can just drink with them, you made it. You made it. You made it. And so I just thought we should know about little Miss Jasmine Barnes, who was murdered in Houston. Wow. Okay, and then the other story to the family that I have in other Black news is the women's movement. You know, the one that you said you were going to go to because you're in support of all. Oh yeah, the one that's been canceled in California because there wasn't California, Louisiana, Chicago, and various few other places. Yeah, and some major cities. And why was that canceled? Well, they're canceled because I'm glad you asked. White women, Jewish women are mad because a couple of the other co-founders, Tamika Mowry and Linda Sassower, Linda Sassower is a Muslim, and Tamika Mowry has sat under and studied under Minister Louis Farrakhan. They won't denounce, for one of the reasons, they won't denounce Minister Louis Farrakhan because he is labeled the #1 leader in being anti-Semitic. They labeled him as being the #1 threat to Jews. Okay. Wow. Right. And so not the Saudi king. No, Farrakhan. Not the Jordanians. And Palestinians. Right. Farrakhan is. The ones that are actually killing Jews. Yeah. So they won't denounce him. Okay. And they've also accused Tamika and Linda of being anti-Semitic because the one Jewish woman that was on the chair, they told her to leave. And so, of course, she runs off and says it's because I'm Jewish, and that's all a lot of times they got to do. And then it's all up in the arms. I heard one of the reasons why they canceled it was there wasn't enough people of color partaking. Well, that was in Northern California, and I read the whole story on that. And so it's true. It was canceled because it wasn't it was too white is what they call it. It was too, let's keep it real. They said it was too white. But if you do the math, statistically and demographically speaking, there's not a lot of Black people up there. I think they said there's less than 2% of Black people in Humboldt County. Yes, a lot of people don't realize Northern California is very expensive, and you don't see a lot of us there. You might see us in like Oakland, but even Oakland's expensive comparatively. Yeah, it is now because that's where Barbecue Becky came from. After the gentrification, they gentrifying the neighborhoods, and the rest is history. But
So yeah, the women's marches all over. See, I think they have a few of them. One that comes up in January, because if you remember the big historic one right after Trump was elected, the women organized it, considered that to be one of the largest organized marches ever.
And the reason that really was so big is because Hillary had lost.
All that, right.
Oh,
they bra straps in a bunch, and so. So all these marches are being canceled, because participation is low. Really what I'm going to paraphrase, and I'm going to paraphrase, I'm just reading between lines for y'all guys. White women are mad they can't get their way, and so they're saying if we can't get our way, as you guys know too, Alyssa Milano, who
actress,
was hijacked the Me Too movement. She says that if these women, these being Tamika and Linda, are not removed, then she won't speak. And so that's kind of where it all snowballed from. All right, and so as I read in the story, I'm not going to speak until you get rid of them.
Who is she?
Alyssa Milano.
I know, but she's an actress.
Who's the boss?
Yeah, but she's an actress.
Right. Well, she's white though.
Yeah, but that's like having an athlete.
Donovan, she's a white woman.
God, well,
it
Italian
don't matter.
Right.
She could be slinging sausages on the corner.
Right.
And as long as she's white, she has a voice more than
everybody else. Right.
You do. Okay.
Ooh, wow.
Now, so as I read the story, I came up with, a couple talking points, things that's kind of obvious to most people who are awake about feminism, because this is what this is about. And black women have no damn business being in the feminist movement anyway. We can argue about
that. And
no
man should have any business in the feminist movement.
Right, but there's a lot of men around that call themselves feminists, okay?
Pussies.
Now, I said, as I read this article, maybe now black women will understand 4 things about feminism. 1, it has never, ever been for the benefit of black women. Never, not one time. You point out, tell me one time that feminism has been for black women, and I will shut up about this, never say it. No, matter of fact, I'll become one. That's
wow.
Okay?
Okay.
And don't come to me with that transformational, it's some term that the black women call it, intersectional feminism, and that we're black and we have our own segment and our own movement is bullshit.
So basically you guys are like a segment.
Not you guys, them. Because I ain't in that. Okay. The number 2, it has separated us from our black men. Okay, so let me take all that back. Let me clarify. That's the only thing that it has done for black women. And that ain't good. It has separated black women from our black men because, as Dr. Shahrazad Ali has always said, that was white women's fights. That was never our fight. They only used us. It never had nothing to do with us, okay? And I also tell you guys, for you guys to say you feminists and this, that, and the other, we talked about this when we actually discovered this. Now, obviously, we discovered this on our show, but you tell me that 70% of black women are single mothers, but 77%, almost 80% of white women are married. But the feminist movement was created by white women. That should tell you something right there. That tells you that they just out there playing feminism, but at the end of the day, they going home to their husbands and they having that casserole hot on the table. Okay?
Got that right.
Because he you can play all day long, but when it's time to get serious, bring your ass back in his house.
That's it.
We're the only ones that fell for that and continuously think that we are supposed, and I'm not saying our men don't fight with us, they do. But we're the only ones that really took it to heart. Well, I'm supposed to be hating this black man.
I'm supposed to be the head of my house.
All of that. But yeah, look where that's taken us. As black women, we are, we don't have any protection or any, provision or any of that stuff because we have believed the false narrative about the feminist movement in regards to black women. Listen, black women, it's not for us. Okay?
And can I add to that?
Yes, you can.
And because of the feminist movement, and you guys have taken it to heart, you have started to feminize a whole generation of black men. That's why you have songs like, Mama.
Stop it.
Mama, you're the queen of my heart. No, and don't get me wrong. That has always been, we always loved our mamas. But now it's getting to a point in the black community
well, it's getting to a point now where, we amen and all this other stuff, little dudes running around with pink high heel boots talking about
flipping and
yeah, now he got a whole little series on his Instagram of people just eating and say, you go, girl, that is a boy. First of all, black women, I get so tired of y'all talking about you go girls to dudes. I know, we live in a time and age where, that's a social construct. I should be able to say I am what I am. Yes, you shall be able to say that. But if I see you being a boy, I'm going to call you a boy.
Did you ever finish follow up on that one video where the mother was like twerking and their sons, and the kid was like 4 years old?
No, but I know a lot of people call CPS, so I'll be interested in finding out what happened with that. But to your point, the lady
titty fell out,
was twerking, and her little 6-year-old or wherever he was filming it. Okay,
it's ridiculous.
The third point is we only are used as a body count.
That's it. That's all.
Okay, to produce large numbers for this feminist movement.
That's it.
Okay. Because, as a lot of people pointed out, if white feminists were for black women, how come they don't have their asses out there marching with you when your black sons are being murdered wholesale by their husbands?
What?
I'm just saying. Why aren't they out there, protesting and holding signs talking about Black Lives Matter?
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Think about that.
Why not? Well, especially with the young lady that was dragged up in a Waffle House and her clothes came off and all that. Well, how come they didn't have a whole slew of these white women out there helping to raise awareness and say that is wrong? That is a woman. We don't care what color she is. She's still a woman, and we need to treat women better. They put out one memo just to satisfy people, and they said, okay, we've done our job. Then let's go start talking about white women again. You know?
You want to ask me why that is?
Why?
How many times have I told you? A black woman is worth $5.
Well, she's not personally, like, her body is worth $5, but it is said that net worth of black women on average is $5 because that's all that we keep once we stop tricking our money off.
Right.
And not being good stewards over our money. We have about $5, and some of us don't have that. Yeah. Not me, but I'm saying in general, okay? Because I keep a little money on me.
Exactly.
Whether it's a change jar in the ashtray. I know where to find some money if I got to, okay?
Absolutely.
So, we have rich friends like, hey.
You don't have to be rich. That's my philosophy. I'm not rich. I just surround myself with rich friends.
Right. So you could become rich yourself one day.
Look, I took you to the cabin.
Right. Rich friend. It was cold as a mug up there, but it's funny. I was telling Jeremiah about it the other day. We was talking because it was all cloudy and stuff. And I said, man, that reminds me of the time me and Donovan went up to the mountains. I said it was cloudy as shit.
The cloud was down.
And I said he was concerned, and I said then I got concerned because I'm like, this dude is a pilot. He a pilot, and we can't see it.
Nothing you can do. The cloud was low. Nothing you can do.
We was driving in the clouds. I was like, he started busting up. I was like, this dude is a pilot. So I started to get concerned. Yes. But we was talking about it because it's talking about phone service. I said, but I have Verizon. Because you couldn't get no signal.
I couldn't get no signal. And the funny thing is, when people that live in the mountains, they're used to it, so they know how to drive.
Yeah, we was like, hold on.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
I mean, people were just appearing. Yeah, people were just appearing. It was just like, wow.
Yeah, so... Number 4. Now, I don't know how important this is on the list, but it's fairly important. White women are great organizers. Even if it means organizing to subjugate you, black woman. Okay? They have organized. Don't ever believe that this one we've decided not to have the women's march. Don't think this ain't calculated. This is very calculated. They have gotten together and said if these two, because Linda Sauer, she's Hispanic from what I understand. And Tamika Mowry is black. Well, if these, POCs, people of color, won't do what we want, we'll organize them. We'll just shut it down because there's no way we're going to let them have their way. Now, I don't know if that's what they said, but I imagine it was something like that.
I can see that going down.
Absolutely. So we just need to shut it down. It's like kids. When we was kids, the one kid didn't get their way, they took their toys and they went home.
That's right. Taking my ball, I'm going home.
Yeah, so that's the same thing. And so, if you women don't do what we say, and to me, because I got into a little bit of back and forth with a couple of the Muslim brothers. I love the Muslim brothers. My dad is a Muslim brother. But when I first brought that up about Tamika Mowry, I said shame on her in the first place for thinking that these women share the same ideology as her.
Exactly.
And now a whole year later, it's starting to manifest that these women don't care about her. They only cared when she was doing what they wanted her to do.
Right. They have their agenda, and they want their agenda taken care of first.
And I think it also should be fair to say that Tamika Mowry did denounce Farrakhan.
Okay.
and his Jewish statements. She did, which I don't think she should have did that.
No, I mean, there's a way to say, well, I don't agree with Minister Farrakhan.
She kind of said that, but it was a denunciation.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it real. It's a denunciation.
But why?
But they're still not satisfied.
But why is she being held for what somebody else says?
Because she's black, and black women have always been subjugated by white women. That's just a fact. And listen, it's just not good enough. You know, you said you didn't like, what Farrakhan said, but gosh, we really want you to just, we want to use your black ass to stick it to this black man. That's all that is. Nothing more, nothing less. The same thing they did, they being the LGBTQ plus A1357 community to Kevin Hart.
Right.
He apologized for this many times, but
not
just,
good enough.
Gosh,
no,
we just really, and not only that,
we
want
need
you
to bend
use your
over,
platform.
and we need to take this Vaseline, and we need to
and use your platform to promote the LGBTQ community. Instead of quitting, you should have had a gay co-host with you.
Okay, let me ask you this. If the LGBTQ LMNOP community came to you and said, we want you to do a show and you're going to promote LGBTQ, we're going to put you on ABC or whatever, one of these big, things, would you?
I'm going to say, you're not going to do that with me. I don't have nothing against, the homosexual community.
No, we're just going to give you the Demetra K show and we're going to produce it and, it's going to pay you $3 million contract, whatever it is. Would you?
See, that's very tempting because $3 million is a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
However, what are you willing to do for that? What are you selling your soul? Are you selling your integrity? Are you going to, because eventually they might let you get out of the gate with a couple of shows your way. You do it your way, girl.
Like Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, but then after that, okay, now we need you to start talking a little bit. You need to throw a little bit more LGBTQ stuff up in there, because it's people who fund your adventures are going to want to control it. So that's how a lot of people get caught up and end up selling out because it's like, damn, I took the money. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, okay, we shouldn't be talking about that.
And the reason I bring that up now is because later on, when you do have the show down in Houston, I got to come down there and say, I just come to see the show just like everybody else. That's going to come up, and you can say, no, I addressed that. 2-3 years back, and I said, hey, I know what it is and this is my show, and I'm gonna do it my way.
You got to do it your way. You got to stay true to the brand because if you sell your brand out, then you sell out the people who follow your brand as well.
Absolutely.
So you got to be true to your game. And so the other thing I wanted to talk about is got a lot of stuff going on. Miss Tiffany Haddish. Now, well, as you guys have followed this show for some time, you know that Donovan and I have taken Miss Tiffany Haddish to task because we believe that the things that she does is not conducive to black women. In fact, the stereotypes and the persona that she puts out is harmful to black women. However, I said on my show on Sunday when I first heard about it that Tiffany has made a fan out of me for 3 reasons, okay? Now, if you guys, and I'll give you guys a little backstory. On Sunday, she made a video with her wearing a fur coat, and she said that a fan gave it to her after she asked for it, and so she then said, and PETA, that is the organization that's a big-time organization for animals and stuff, and they've also been known to splash red paint on celebrities' fur coats and while they're out on the red carpet, and all that kind of
terroristic
stuff.
Things.
Yeah, exactly, terroristic things. And so she, being Tiffany Haddish, says, and PETA, and I'm paraphrasing, don't come for me. Especially don't come for me when you have not said anything about black people being murdered by the police. And so when you start talking about black people being murdered by the police, then you can talk to me about wearing this coat. And matter of fact, I might wear a fur coat every day until you guys start addressing that stuff. And so, of course, you have, PETA people. You know who these people are. I'm just leave it at that. Who have, and I shouldn't say it's just white people, because Russell Simmons also said that she wished she wouldn't have done that, this, that, and the other. I'm like, Russell, you got your own problems, okay? Because not too long ago, they was accusing you of raping a white woman, so you might want to go and shut your ass up, okay? Be quiet for now.
Let do your yoga thing.
Yeah, let this woman use her platform. And so this headline says here, by Tiffany, you just killed your career, in quotes. After her making a bold, statement in regards to police brutality and black people. And so I said, Tiffany has made a fan out of me for 3 reasons. One, because she's taking a stand for black people. Now, again, I see her in the same light as Kaepernick, because this lady, and me and you kind of dispute this a little bit, I feel like, and I think it's, debatable, but probably true, she's at the top of her career.
Yes.
Top of her career. And she is well sought after by a lot of people to do things, whether we like the stuff or not. Sure. She is. She's in everything you can think of. But she decided, I don't know what it was. She decided to take a stand and say, I'm going to start speaking up for black people. And so in her response to that, she says, it's mighty funny how, she says, I'm not going to put an animal over black people. And neither should you. And I'm paraphrasing. And so
I would, but.
We know you. But she is not backing down from that. So she didn't have to do that. Sure. She could have said, well, let me go on, because, if you heard Tiffany's story, she struggled for a very long time. Tiffany has struggled. She talks about when Kevin Hart loaned her a couple dollars to go get her a rat motel type of apartment because she was sleeping in her car. To this day, he won't let her pay it back. So she did struggle big time. And so she could have very easily said, no, the gravy train is rolling. I ain't going to say nothing. But she chose to do it. And so maybe she's come to the part where she's like, what is all this for if my people are suffering and being murdered wholesale by police officers every day? Or maybe, for the most part.
Or maybe she looked at the fact that the Illuminati has asked her to do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that thing, and she said it's not worth it.
If you believe in Illuminati, I mean, I don't.
Well, I don't believe in it, but I know to be successful in Hollywood, there are things that they want you to do.
Yeah,
and she probably said it wasn't worth it.
I agree. Or maybe she had that epiphany. It was like, damn. Right. Because I always talk about step and fetch it, and I saw Tiffany going down that aisle of being a step and fetch it because he regretted his decision to coon, for lack of better words, because that's what he did. Coon for white people because white people paid him. He was the first millionaire African-American actor. First millionaire. We didn't have that kind of money to pay him. So who was paying that kind of going down that road and was step and fetch it? I forget his real name. It was Walter somebody, I think. But toward the end, he died an alcoholic and he was broke because black people was like, nah, son.
Can't come home.
Yeah, you did the most, And so maybe she said, I don't want that to be me.
Right. Or you always think about it when you can start becoming famous and stuff. You don't become famous because it's something that you just was blessed upon. You got to work at it.
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany's been in the game for a very long time. And so that's why I said I see her in the same realm with Kaepernick because these two people are the type of people that white society loves. Kaepernick was a good-looking dude. He's a good football player. He didn't have to do it, risk his career, but he did. Now it seems that Tiffany's career, and I said we need to stand behind her. I think we do.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I think no matter what you do, you got to look at your legacy.
Right.
Afterwards. Right. And how are you going to be remembered?
Right. But the other part of that is, and I made a post on my wall. It says, if your timeline is full more with, because Tiffany Haddish got booed last night at one of her stand-up shows. I guess they said she wasn't funny and kept forgetting lines. Maybe she had something to drink. I don't know what. I wasn't there. I'm just telling you what I saw. And so people were posting about that, and I asked Al. I said, "Did you hear about?" He was telling me about she got booed, and I said, "Well, it's mighty funny how everybody's going to continue to talk about that opposed to her standing up for black people." And he said, I didn't hear about that, her standing up for black people. And I said, if you hear more about her getting booed than you have about her standing for black people on social media, your friends list ain't shit.
That's not that.
Because we should be talking more about her taking a stand for black people than her getting booed. Comedians getting booed on stage is nothing new. Everybody has a bad moment, but that we shouldn't allow them being the white media, to continue to shape the narrative about us. So what? She got booed. Everybody has an off day. Everybody does. But that shouldn't overshadow what she's trying to do and raise awareness to black people or about black people. And so I say we should stand behind Tiffany and continue, for those of us who are me. Well, Donovan is kind of too.
Yeah, no.
Stand behind Kaepernick.
I'm going to agree with you. But here's the thing, though. When we don't do that and we don't stand for our own, I don't blame the white man. I blame us.
I agree, brother. I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
This is the first.
I mean, I'm just saying, the first for the year. I really do agree with you. It's not who's making us do that at this point.
Right. I mean, I don't look for validation from Mexicans. I don't look for validation. People. I mean, I read the business about my stance on what's going on down the border and all that other stuff, right? Hey.
And who was it by? Who read you the business?
The Hispanic community.
I'm surprised you're saying some black people.
Oh, no, there were some black people in there too, but mostly Hispanic community. But here's my thing. You guys, and it's funny how they just take it and they twist it. I'm not saying I don't think what's going down there is horrific. It is. But I'm from Southern California. They have Hispanic congressmen that should be on that and speaking on that.
Well, but my thing is this too, because I was talking to a brother online, and one day he's going to... I don't know how, because he's in Baltimore, do a live feed with us, but he's really huge on stopping the gentrification in his neighborhoods. He goes through the neighborhoods and snatches down the signs that say we buy houses, because he says they do that in the hoods. And so I said, well, we should do that here. And he enlightened me, and he says, unfortunately, California doesn't have any more predominantly black neighborhoods. We have a few like Lamert Park and stuff like that, but not like they do in a lot of parts of the country. And so he says, we need to do everything we can to save them. But he also made a good point and says, and I'm for the wall. And he says, I know that's not popular. He says, I'm for the wall. He says, because the fence or whatever it's called, the more of them come over here. Not saying they shouldn't be able to come over here legally, but the more of them come over here, the more that jeopardizes us as black people.
I'll agree with them. Again, until you come out here to the West to see this fence, we have open borders here. There is not a mass invasion of Hispanics.
That's the shit Trump.
Yes, that is not true.
Right. It's not true.
These people come over here, they shop, they might even work over here, but they're smart enough to live where they live because you can't afford to live here.
But there are some that are coming over here and not supposed to. But to your point, Trump has put a lot of salt on it.
Right.
If
you look at the statistics of migration, it has actually gone down. Now, this myth about these Mexicans just making a run for the border, that's not true. Most of the illegal immigration has taken place in the United States is from passport holders like Melania Trump.
No, shut your mouth.
That have overstayed their visa.
Or how come nobody says nothing about, because Asians are actually at the top, I think they said Asians and Africans.
Africans and Asians, yep.
Are at the top of the list who are coming over here.
And they overstay their visas.
But white people focus on the Mexican coming over here, but it's deeper than that. Why?
Right.
Because they're catching them in population.
Right.
And so that to the point that the brother was making, black people, and you made this point, we have been stagnant since the 60s and in population between 12 and 14%. But we haven't gone anywhere as far as population because we don't have our children. We fall for the eugenics program. It's called Planned Parenthood. All that other stuff, and we're in cars. It's just a bunch of nonsense that keeps black people at around 14% of the population. And so anytime you want to cape for the wall not being built and the cages, listen, as we always say, kids should not be kept in cages. However, you better start thinking about your kids that are kept in cages in the juvenile system and going to prison as adults for even some minor stuff. You better start thinking about your own babies, okay?
Exactly.
Right.
If you're for the wall, that's good and great. Do you guys realize that El Chapo escaped the Mexican jail here down there, and there was a tunnel that was just short of Marietta. It had a rail, it had a Starbucks, it had Taco Bell in it. I mean, this ain't no tunnel that's just like Vietnam and you're kind of going through it. Right. It had a whole,
he said Vietnam.
Track system.
I want to go there.
And it was not detected, and they did it underground, and it was not detected for years, and it was complete. So a fence, I don't care what you call it, that is not going to stop illegal immigration, wherever you want to call it.
And where there's a will, there's a way.
Right. Most of the people are coming here through Canada, into the airports, with legal passports, and they're overstaying their visas.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right. So to end that off, we need to stand behind Tiffany Haddish, whether you like her movies or not, or you think she's funny. To me, that's not the issue. The issue is that she used her platform to help her people, and that's what we should be discussing.
Right. Is she still looking for a man?
I think she's with Common, from what they say.
Okay.
I don't.
You know what? And if that's true, he might be waking her up and saying, "Look,
maybe so." Because Common was a little bit,
He got in Hollywood for a second.
Yeah.
But what's that saying? He that stands for nothing will fall for everything.
Every time.
Every time. So I don't care what you guys do. And this is my New Year's first day advice to anybody. Whatever career field you're in or you want to go to, let's take it down to the lowest denominator. You're a drug dealer. the thing is, what is the legacy you leave as a drug dealer? Do you want to be known as the baddest cat that ever did it?
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? So that's what you got to think of. You just don't do it just because, I'm just doing it. You got to think of your legacy.
Right. Stacking some of these chips.
Right. You
right.
know? Like, oh, wow, that guy, man, he bought condos.
Yeah, like, well, how you going, a drug dealer going to jail with no bail?
A lot of these guys can't make the bail.
Right, because they got it on the rims.
Right, right.
So anyway, the last thing I want to talk about, how much time we got?
5 minutes.
I'm going to blow through this. Okay, so I came up with a New Year's list last night because you see a lot of people talking about, well, for the New Year, I'm gonna do this New Year, new me.
What about it?
All that other nonsense. And I thought, well, wow, well, what about your kids, though? You know? So I made a list that says, number one, teach your children how to start using their minds, not their brains, because the mind and the brain is different, okay? The brain is a physical thing. The mind is something they have to actually cultivate and use to think and all that other stuff. Teach them how to use their minds and not their bodies, because beauty fades, but a mind will always be attractive. That's number one. Number two, teach them that a man or a woman worth their weight is one, wants to be with a man or a woman worth their weight is one. All right, number three, teach them that the path of least resistance will always lead them nowhere fast, and that it actually takes hard work and dedication to make it. 4, teach your sons that a woman who doesn't keep a clean house probably doesn't keep a clean body either. And teach your daughters the same thing about men. Teach your children more of how to think and less of what to think. Teach your children to be more social and how to verbally communicate well with others. Teach them that comparison is a killer and that they should be the best version of themselves. Teach your children coping skills so that they know sometimes being told no is for their own good. Teach them that their knowledge will take them where their knowledge will take them. So pay attention when wisdom speaks, and by all means, teach them how to take advice. And then 11, teach them the art of courting so that they don't end up with someone who is not worthy of being with them. Teach your children to be loving and kind to others, because karma is an unapologetic bitch that makes sure whatever is given is also returned. Teach your children to seek a higher power, because they're going to need to do so often. Teach your children to be grateful and appreciative for the things that most take for granted, because there, but for the grace of God, there go I, which means that could be them. So thank God that is not. Last, teach your children that they can make excuses or they can be successful, but they cannot do both. Okay? And so
that's beautiful.
I just felt that, because a lot of times, you know, on this New Year's, I'm going to give me a new car. Yeah, I'm going to give me a good man. Okay, you got kids. What are you going to do to make sure your kids have a great New Year's resolution when they're able to, you know, conceive of what that is?
What's that saying? What's the greatest legacy as a parent that you could leave this world?
Well, shoot, there's a lot of them.
Your children.
Oh, yes.
If your children aren't productive in society, to me, as a parent, you failed. Right.
And that's what I was talking to somebody earlier about life insurance in regards to black people. Said, you know, we need to stop leaving our peoples, our children. Yeah, well, we need to stop leaving them hardship and leave them a heritage.
Absolutely.
Leave them something. And that's not necessarily money, which money is nice. You know, but it does no good, and you mentioned this before, it does no good to leave your kids money if they don't know how to use the money.
I think that's a Bible verse, a fool and the money are soon parted.
Well, they will soon part, yes. Because I can leave you $1 million, but if all you know how, if you ain't seen your mama and your daddy, you know, be good stewards over the money, which is another biblical thing, be good stewards over the money, the minute you get the $1 million shit, you finna go trick it all off.
Go right through it.
And 6 months later, you're going to be talking about, damn. I ain't got no money.
How many sports athletes have gone broke?
Yeah, because they don't know how to make the money do what it's supposed to do. They, as I said in the last segment, as black people, we need to stop being more material rich and stop being material rich and cash poor. We need to flip it around, be cash rich and material poor, because those things eventually depreciate.
Exactly. Hey, you guys, don't forget to check out the Demetra K Show on Sundays, 3 p.m. She's also on Facebook Live, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter. We're everywhere. She's everywhere. Any idea on topics going to be going on this Sunday?
No, because you know it always hits me at the last minute.
And you got to wait till Friday to see what news and stuff is going on like that. But again, you guys check out her show, and then I have my show again. You guys check that out when you guys get a chance. I will be recording Friday, actually, because I don't do a lot of recording, but when I have something to say, I will record.
Right,
and plus,
that's me.
And and plus my mama's here, so I'm trying to get her on the show.
Get your mama on the show.
No, she's like, hell no, I don't tell y'all nothing. I can't tell y'all kids ain't nothing. So you guys, don't forget about that. I just want to wish you guys a happy and safe new year, and please, 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 let's reset and change our way of thinking.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys again next week. Demetra K Show. Don't believe the hype.
Peace.